What I loved about that one, like he had a whole sentence, I cannot remember it in there, naming all kinds of dimensions of technology, AI, and like
And
most
robots.
different things. And then he added, and robots. And, yes.
Everything. And
It's so much
robots.
fun. If you didn't listen to that, listen to that one. Like Renee is really, really cool. He's a really fun guy to geek out with.
Hey there, welcome to Battle Talks, the podcast. I'm Rick.
And I'm Oscar.
And today we'll do a small Christmas special. So let's have a look at, well, let's say last year and what happened. And I mean, you changed jobs. When was that? A year and a half ago?
Yeah. So that's not last year.
I think a lot happened in the last year, probably. So
definitely a lot happened.
How's it been?
Recorded a lot of episodes as well. I've been good.
Yeah.
Been busy. A bit of a change, but not purely technical work anymore.
But that's always been your point of interest, right? You've always also looked at the process and the team and how to improve and how to take the next step. So I can also imagine that in your current role, that's something that you can do more often.
Well, yeah, and if you have any opinions about this should be done better or whatever, then yeah, I think you need to step up and start arranging it, because that's hard work to do everything around it. And well, it's interesting, it's challenging, but I'll still can get to the technical bit sometimes. So yeah, I think much bigger for me would not be fun anymore, because you're too distant from the actual technology.
So you want to be that CTO that also has Visual Studio on his laptop, right?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, I need to have it open just in case. No. Yeah, no. I think you need to understand what's going on. Well, at least at our level of company. And you? Still Microsoft?
A lot has changed and nothing has changed. So that's how that works in bigger corps, right?
Got renamed again, maybe?
No, we are now part of a different part of the organization. But in the end, our goal stays the same. We still have our own portfolios in which we help customers. If I could say one thing, then I think I'm now more easily connected to different types of events again to help other people see products, experience products, get hands-on experience. So that's that's nice to do. And like you said, we did record quite a few decent podcast episodes over the last couple of months or the last year. So yeah, do you have anyone that or any episode that stands out, or where you think that was really?
Yeah, I think we went all over the place. Really,
we did
fun. Yeah, I remember. I remember a couple. We went not only to like the Azure side. We know.
True.
We went into some low code. We went into people that work with data.
Web development.
Yeah, so fun to expand there and hear those stories.
And also sometimes a little bit scary on how similar it still is, depending on, I mean, separate from the specific piece within our industry where you're working. I mean, in the end, it all boils down to tech and how it evolved over the last years, right? So, for instance, the one with Stefan Judas, where we had a lot of discussion around web.
Yeah.
It still relates to a lot of things that we do, and I think it's. We would probably need to name everyone, because every episode was interesting in its own.
If I really like the geek in me, I love the episode with Shai Royansky.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, like working on EF, doing a lot of optimization, and just something also known for me. So it's fun to geek out a bit in that spot. So like those are always fun. This year, I think we couldn't escape the AI.
It's there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, for instance, The neurodivergence part that we discussed with a couple of guests, among which Lisa Hoving, I think it's something that's being more and more accepted and maybe even taken into account around us. So it's almost impossible to escape that one. But it was also really good to hear their side of the story and to hear how sometimes things can come across. And it also makes you think a little bit about how you handle yourself in certain situations. And if you could maybe be more inclusive to others to make sure that they feel at ease as well.
Yeah, I think like having that conversation and like anyone listening might be a bit more aware about that will help us gain some steps there.
Yep.
I was definitely not always aware.
No. But presumably I still am not always, right? Yeah. Because it takes time and it takes maybe even getting used to, or at least getting it into your system that it's the default. I mean, for instance, one of the things we've been doing talks for quite some time now. One of the things I always used to say was, you guys. And even though it's not meant that way, it can be seen as being non-inclusive. So I try to make that people or you or, I mean, anything else that's not as limiting as guys, for instance. And again, it's not meant in that way, but if it's something that people can have a problem with, I do tend to see if I can change, but it's hard because sometimes you're so used to saying stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard, but on the other hand, also like taking some effort because it doesn't do anything, doesn't diminish anything you're doing yourself.
Nope.
So take that step. Like I don't like. Why wouldn't you?
And as far as the tech goes, I also really enjoy talking to René Schulte about the humanized AI.
What I loved about that one, like he had a whole sentence I cannot remember in there, naming all kinds of dimensions of technology, AI, and like
and robots,
different things, and then he added and robots. And, yes.
Everything.
It's so much fun. If you didn't listen to that, listen to that one. Like René is really, really cool. He's a really fun guy to geek out with as well.
Definitely true.
He knows a lot.
Definitely true. So I think over the last year we've seen that we are moving around a bit more. We are looking a bit more into other parts of the software development community and anything and everything that goes with it. And I think that's a good thing. I think it broadens our senses and maybe helps somebody else broaden their horizon as well.
Yeah. I think our podcast is indeed, it's not limited to the tech. While I always love to, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I love to go deep into tech and I love stories. And but I think we we take the time to highlight the person. Someone that's very known for their tech sometimes. Yep. We're just speaking about them. And
I mean, especially if you see our next episode, I think there's some real personal information and stories in there and told in a way that's very engaging, that it's really nice to listen to. But again, I think I should say that about all of the episodes because each and every one has that special spark that one person or those persons make them unique. And I think we try and get that out as well. Next to just doing the tech part, we also try to do the personal part. And I think that, I like that about the podcast.
Yeah.
So
it's a fun hobby to have, right?
It is. And it's quite the privilege that we can do so. So we've never done this really explicitly during an episode, but I would like to thank Beth a bit for making all of this possible, right? I mean, we both don't work there anymore, but still, we get the chance to make this podcast.
Yeah.
And that's largely because of them, because they enable us to do so.
Yeah, and also the people listening or watching these days don't always see it, but we have 2 members of a group that are from sub-district, I think they're called. We used to call them differently. I think Tom and Friso are awesome. And they're helping us just being able to just sit down and enjoy a day of talking to people.
and they're the ones that actually made us sound pretty decent in the beginning when there was more us and ahs than anything else in there.
And now we can do video because we don't have to cut as much anymore. No, and next to that, of course, Mies, who representing that a bit, is always on our tail to arrange things just in time for these days. So
driving force between
we
the boat.
could do it alone, especially this consistently up to 100.
But up to 100, but also with a decent consistency in publishing the episodes, right? Because I think we've never missed the two week mark, I think. Yeah,
maybe once. I don't know. No, never.
No, never. No, never.
Never.
Why would you say such a thing?
No one's gonna check this.
Oh, and now somebody is.
Yeah, cool.
We probably can ask ChatGPT to have a look at Bad Talks the podcast and tell us if it's always been 2 weeks between episodes.
Yeah, and it will probably make something up.
Those are your words, not mine.
No.
There's only one last person to thank. I think after I'm going to thank you for this. But the only last person I would like to thank is you listening, because without you, it would just be a lot of bytes on a disk somewhere in the cloud, probably. But because of you and because of the fact that you're listening or watching this now on YouTube, that's the reason we do this. And even if it's only one person that we can maybe reach out to and give some extra information or a laugh on their face for that day, I think that's what we're doing it for, right?
Definitely. And we're having a lot of fun. And it would feel like a really stupid hobby to have if no one's listening.
If at the end of the year you
But I think we're at the point that we wouldn't even care. It's so much fun to do. Definitely, I think, we do hear, and it's awesome to hear that sometimes we even have a guest we invite, we know by name, and they start with, I listen to you guys. And that feels good. It feels cool.
So because of that, I wanna highlight one last thing before we sign off for this short Christmas edition. I was at, what was it? Azure Fest, which is a conference here in the Netherlands. It's Azure focused, as you might guess. And I was actually on the Microsoft stand because one of the people from Microsoft asked me if I could help man the stand, because not a lot of people were available on that specific day. And I started talking with one of the attendees, and we had a discussion about their solution and about what they were doing. And then they asked, so what it is you do, by the way. So I explained, and
what do you actually do?
I explained my role in Microsoft and what I actually do. And they said, this sounds a bit like that one guy from that podcast. I think he does something like the same. I said, do you mean Rick? Yeah, from the Beta Talks podcast. I said, dude, that's me.
Oh, really?
So this is such a strange...
You met our listener.
It's such a strange thing that somebody knows you, or at least, they know you, and they've, without you ever having seen that person, either digitally or in real life. So it's really, really humbling also, because it again says how incredibly privileged we are that we can do this every 2 weeks. So I'm just really happy and looking forward to another year in the studio with you, Oscar.
Definitely. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to use this privilege to give a platform to people that deserve that every 2 weeks. Wow.
And if there's anybody listening where you think I should be on or they should talk to this person, please let us know. We're both on Blue Sky. You can find us on LinkedIn, or just find Badbit and then they'll make sure the information comes to us. So I think those are the ways of trying to contact us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for listening to Better Talks, the podcast. Better Talks is made possible by BetterBit, managed software development.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.